Alright, this is page 180, and if you watch this video closely, you're going to recognize that some of these problems look similar, but we're going to take an additional step here. What we're going to do on this page is we're going to use a unit rate to solve proportions. Unit rate, that's when we simplify it down to where the second term is only one unit. So let's check this out, okay? Unit rate, pay attention to that. Example 2, the distance Ali runs in 36 minutes is shown on the pedometer. Ali can run 36 minutes, or 3 miles in 36 minutes. You can see that, right? At this rate, how far could he run in 60 minutes? So I don't know if what they're doing here is going to be confusing. We'll examine it real quick, and then I'll show you what I would do on a whiteboard, okay? It says write a proportion. We're going to take the information 36 minutes, and we're going to put it over 3 miles. That's right here. And then, if you tried to just multiply 36 by something to get to 60, it doesn't work. So, what do we do here? I'm going to make a whiteboard for myself. I'm going to show you what I would do, because this isn't really that hard until I show you how to do it, when I show you how to do it. So, check this out. I'm going to take all that information, and I'm going to put 36 minutes over 3 miles. And then I'm going to put equals. And at first I put 60 minutes. And I recognize that's not going to work because 36 doesn't go into 60. So then what I do here is I'm going to make a different ratio, and it's not going to be 60. Watch what I do instead. I ask myself, could this simplify? And it does, and here's how. 36 and 3 share a factor of 3. So I'm going to multiply everything by 3. Divide everything by 3. And I'm going to divide 3 miles by 3, and we get 1 mile. And I'm going to divide 36 by 3, I'm going to get 12 minutes. Now this right here has a special name. It is called the unit rate. Ali ran 3 miles in 36 minutes. But a different way of describing that is Ali can run 1 mile for every 12 minutes. Now, how can this help us get the actual answer? Well, I'm going to do another equal sign. I'm going to do a third ratio here. I'm going to put 60 minutes right here, because that's ultimately what I'm trying to figure out, is how far can Ali run in 60 minutes. That's what the directions ask me to do. So now I'm going to ask myself, does 12 go into 60 evenly? And it does, 5 times. So if you can multiply 12 by 5, you can multiply 1 by 5. And you're going to get 5 miles. And then the question asked, how far can he run in 60 minutes? It's 5 miles. So if you think back to what we did on the first problem with the pepperoni pizzas, this is an additional step. This whole thing in the middle here that we did, this is an additional step. And it's called finding the unit rate. So if your number 36 doesn't go directly into 60, try simplifying it to a unit rate, and then find your answer. Let's try that at the bottom of the page as well. I think I'm going to start modeling. I don't always do this. I'm going to start modeling how you can show your work on the page. I'm going to go ahead and, because if you want to keep these notes, you need to do your work on the page. You could do it on separate paper too, but I'm going to put my work in here. You could do the same thing, and then you'd have these notes for your quiz. Alright, so number 2 reads, and if you want to try this on your own, hit pause. Otherwise, you can work with me right now. Ms. Reynolds' sprinkler system has 9 stations that water all the parts of her front and back lawn. Each station runs for an equal amount of time. If it takes 48 minutes for the first 4 stations, here's our first ratio, 48 minutes for the first 4 stations. How long does it take to water all parts of our lawn? Hope you noticed that this number up here wasn't attached to anything else. So this is kind of confusing, but this part's pretty clear. If it takes her 48 minutes to water 4 stations, so that's what's called a ratio, 48 minutes for 4 stations. And then this right here is 9 stations. So if you tried to do this equals 9 stations, it would be pretty confusing because 4 stations can't be multiplied by simply to make 9 stations. It just doesn't work. 9 is not a multiple of 4. So what did we do in the last problem when we got stuck? We found the unit rate. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the unit rate right here. How do you get the unit rate? Is you simplify these terms right here. 48 over 4 means 48 divided by 4. They share a factor of 4. So if you divide 4 stations by 4, you'd get 1 station. So we're going to get the amount of time it takes to do each station. And then if I do 48 minutes divided by 4, I get 12 minutes. This is a unit rate because I now know how many minutes per 1 station. Now I'm going to go back and reread the question. I'm trying to figure out how long it takes to water 9 stations. So I'm going to put 9 stations as my second term. And how am I going to figure this out? I'm going to check the math. How do I get from 1 station to 9 stations? I multiply by 9. So how do I get from 12 minutes to unknown is I multiply by 9. So I can get this answer here by doing 12 times 9. 12 times 9 is 108. So the answer is, how long does it take to water all parts of our lawn? It's 108 minutes. Cool. Good job. You are done with page 180. Great work.